12 News breaking news now.
Ranger going down. Ranger 5-6. Ranger down. 200 Rangers down. You start medical immediately.
Breaking news right now on Today in AZ at 6 o'clock. A heartbreaking tragedy in the high country. Police scanner audio capturing the moments when a DPS helicopter went down last night in Flagstaff, killing the 2 people on board. You're now looking at video captured from a witness near the scene and video of the huge response after.
Now, we have been tracking this story for you since the minute it all happened. 12 News journalists Maria Stobbs and Troy Lynch, they are in Flagstaff this morning speaking with officials and also witnesses to bring you team coverage on this developing situation. So in just a minute, we'll check in with Maria on the new details she is hearing from witnesses in that neighborhood.
But first, we want to give you an idea of what led up to this, because it's a very chaotic scene. We're checking in now with Troy Lynch. Troy, this all started with a shooting. What happened?
Yeah, a little late last night, Flagstaff police, they were responding to an active shooter incident where they were trying to detain a suspect and they got into a shootout. And so what happened after that was the Arizona Department of Public Safety sent in one of their helicopter crews to try to assist Flagstaff PD in that incident. However, sometime during that time frame, we're not exactly sure what led up to that, but then there was a helicopter crash, and then unfortunately it killed the pilot and the paramedic that was on board. So during this time, there was a shelter-in-place ordinance that was set off by the Flagstaff police, and then it has created what you see here, a huge investigation around this area, just a little over a mile away from NAU's campus. And so there is no active threat to the community right now because the suspect is now in custody. Law enforcement shot the suspect multiple times. Non-fatal injuries is what the suspect has as of this point, and the person is expected to be okay. But this was a really intense situation, and now we have DPS investigating what exactly led up to the shooting, and the National Transportation Safety Board investigating what led up to this helicopter crash. Just an unfortunate incident in so many different ways. And now we see behind me, this is the neighborhood where the shooting allegedly happened right now. And DPS has it blocked off. They have a huge perimeter set off. And then just behind me in those hills, that is where NTSB believes that the helicopter crash happened. So we are continuously working on trying to get more information as the morning goes on. And as soon as we get more, we'll be bringing that to you guys. But we're live here in Flagstaff. Troy Lynch, 12 News, Today in AZ.
Yeah, certainly once we get the break of daylight, that will give us a better idea also as well of kind of the lay of where all of this happened. Troy, we'll let you get back to the scene. We'll check back in with you in just a little bit.
We want to turn now to 12 News journalist Maria Stobbs, who is also in Flagstaff for us this morning. Maria, you actually spoke with people who live in the area because this is a neighborhood. This is a quiet neighborhood. Just to have something like this happen is just devastating. Can you tell us what they saw, what they heard?
It is. Well, first they saw that intense police response before seeing the helicopter crash. And for a neighborhood that's usually pretty quiet, it really shocked them. Now, I want to show you some video of what they saw last night. This is from a neighbor who came home after his mom called him about this activity. The area went on lockdown around 10 o'clock, and that's when neighbors like Isaac Lennar says he saw this intense police response in the area. And he says he was at a friend's house when he got the call from his mom.
My mom called me freaking out that she was hearing gunshots and all kind of crazy noises. So me being the only older person other than my mom in the house, I rushed home and I just drove home and I saw all the police cars and all the stuff and etc. And I was just waiting on the side of the street, and then I could see all the cop cars and all the crazy looking vehicles coming towards me.
He says he and his family were watching the helicopter in the air when it suddenly went down. You can see in this video here. He said he saw the propellers and then they just stopped. And they could see the lights slowly coming down before hitting the ground, and they heard a loud boom. They believe the helicopter appeared to go down on a mountain near this neighborhood, close to the railroad tracks. And immediately they said they were devastated, just with questions about what could have caused this helicopter to go down. And unfortunately, we did confirm that 2 people did die. Well, we're live here in Flagstaff. Maria Stobbs, 12 News, Today in AZ.
Now, Maria, I know that you're in a neighborhood, really. I mean, this is a busy spot where a lot of families live in and around this spot. Are you seeing investigators out there still this morning, or are they coming back later on? What can you see from where you're at?
So from where we're at, we haven't seen many investigators in this area, but we have seen neighbors walking back and forth because this is a busy neighborhood, like we were saying earlier. But we are assuming that investigators will come back, or they are just, you know, in these areas that are blocked off that we haven't been able to access.
Yeah, I mean, this is just such a shocking situation because these pilots, the Trooper Paramedic, I mean, they are highly trained. We have done different profiles following the DPS air rescue team, and so we don't know if this was some kind of malfunction with the chopper. Also, there are just so many questions this morning, and unfortunately, or fortunately, a lot of witnesses who saw just this tragedy unfold. That may help in the investigation to figure out what happened. Maria, thank you. We'll check back in with you in just a little bit. Now, here's the thing. Less than 100 miles away from where that chopper went down, we also learned about a different deadly plane crash. This happened in Yavapai County. The Yavapai County Sheriff's Office saying that plane crashed near Poquito Valley, which is just north of Prescott Valley. A large police presence remains in that area. We do know that crash happened sometime before 10:15 last night. The FAA confirming to us this morning that only the pilot was on board. So we're still working to find out the identity of that pilot who was killed. So we'll get you more information as soon as we do get it in. It's coming up on 6:07 this morning. Incredibly busy, but also tragic start to the morning.
Yeah, and we know we just threw a lot of information at you, and we will be following these stories all morning long right here on Today in AZ and our streaming service 12+. We're hoping to get an update in Flagstaff in just a bit, but we really want to break down where these accidents and where these crashes happened. So we're going to send things over to Will Pitts right now with a better look for you. Now, you're talking specifically about the airplane crash. What happened here and where?
Yeah, a little bit easier with a lighter map. You can kind of see the airport is actually right. This is the runway right here. Poquito Valley is basically right in this area right here. So that's where the plane crash happened. It's since been cleared from my map, thankfully. Hopefully that means that a lot of things have been clearing up here. Also, there was a closure that was a long stretch of 89A from a car fire. That's also been lifted. So it looks like 89A from Prescott Valley all the way up to Jerome is open and free and clear also. Down here in the valley, we got a couple of things to talk about. The first one being this one right here that popped up. This is 51st Avenue and Indian School. This is a gas leak that's coming in this intersection. So avoid this intersection and give it a pretty wide berth also. Like 59th Avenue, take that one. Take Camelback, take Thomas. Don't even take a side street because you never know. They might start closing off a little bit wider area depending on what's going on with that gas leak. Still got this accident up here at 60 at Meeker. Take Bell Road to get to the 303. And a lot of slowing there, I-10 51st Avenue. Your drive times are starting to creep up there, Ginger.
Oh my goodness, it is a Thursday, right? We've got 63 degrees outside, pretty clear conditions. Yesterday, those clear skies allowed the mercury to get up to 85 degrees, but we're not going down in the history books. Nope, the record was 86. So the warmest day of the week now behind you. Today, we're going to see these clouds increasing late afternoon into the evening hours, and we could even see a brief shower, kind of a sprinkle, no measurable rainfall to the west side of the state. But look at this. We're in the 60s and 70s pretty much all day long, looking for those upper 70s to about 81 degrees by 4 o'clock this afternoon. And again, all clear skies until late this afternoon into the evening hours. By 7 o'clock, okay, here's the line of rain. I really think the measurable stuff is going to stay closer to Blythe, but again, it could spread out into the far west side, and we'll continue to see these clouds kind of working on through. We also still have double-digit winds. Less wind than yesterday, but still a little bit of movement outside to the tune of about 15, possibly 20 miles an hour. As we look ahead, all right, we are still cruising in the 80s, excuse me, not 70s yet, getting ahead of myself, 80s through Sunday, but then we are starting to see rain and cooler weather prevail next week. We'll talk more about that coming up in my full forecast.
Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again.
It's just heart-wrenching. We are going into day 5 in the search for Nancy Guthrie, and now her family is acknowledging a ransom note sent to the media. You saw it there, Savannah Guthrie. She posted an emotional video, and for about 30 seconds, she talked directly to whoever abducted her 84-year-old mom in the middle of the night, right out of her home. Justin Pizzera is live at her home at the Catalina Foothills in Tucson. Justin, you were one of the first reporters to be on scene Monday morning, and it's so interesting to see the difference from that Monday morning. You know what? Maybe 30 hours after the abduction, there was no crime scene tape. There were no reporters out there. To see where we are now, and you can see right behind you, crime scene tape. What's the difference here now? What are we looking at now, day 5?
You know, Emma, it is night and day from when we got here that first Monday morning, very early Monday morning. It was just me and my photographer, Brett. We were the only ones out here. There was a crew from Tucson that was up the street a ways, but there was no security at the home. There was no deputy. There was no crime scene tape. So now we're going into day 5 of this search, and you cannot get down the street. Media is just lining this street. Now there's security at this home 24/7 watching over it. So quite the difference. It is quiet out here. You know, it's a quiet neighborhood, just other than that security there at the home as well. The crime scene tape, it is down this morning after they did put it back up yesterday. What's really interesting about that is the sheriff said early on that they had given the home back to the family, that they were pretty much done with their investigation. But then yesterday, all of a sudden, they came to the house again and surrounded the home. So I do want to show you some of the latest video that we do have. The night video that you're seeing right here is investigators. They were at Savannah's sister's home for hours. We believe this is where Savannah filmed her social media post, because we could see detectives with the FBI taking in a tripod and a ring light. Then a couple of hours later, Savannah posted that video. The daylight video that you're going to see is from Nancy's home, where detectives, they were back out looking through the backyard. They had a canine unit out here as well going through the yard. There's been a lot of questions about that ransom note sent to TMZ and then some Tucson TV stations earlier this week. The only thing the sheriff would say is that they were looking into it. But then last night, Savannah acknowledged that note and talked directly to whoever abducted her mom.
We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us.
So we do want to point out 12 News has not seen that ransom note, but TMZ is saying that it is very, very specific. It is asking for a large amount of money in Bitcoin. They said that they did verify that account. It is a legit Bitcoin account. But also it says that this ransom note, and so did the TV station in Tucson, say that it had very specific information related to Nancy and when she was abducted from her home, and also very specific information about the house itself that only investigators would know. Another thing to point out, investigators haven't said really anything on what led them to think that something was suspicious. So whatever is in that ransom note, if it is specific enough, then these detectives would be able to figure that out, you know, kind of lead to if it's legit or not. The FBI, they are out here as well. We did see some agents yesterday from Phoenix. They were out here. We talked to the FBI. They said that they have intelligence analysts out here, an evidence response team. They did also say that this is pretty much a normal response when they have a high-profile case like this one as well. Another thing to point out, ladies, is they're also looking into a trespassing incident in January. The sheriff's office says that they're looking into that as well. They're saying that they still do not have a suspect. They do not have a person of interest. That is despite earlier this week, a podcaster came out and said that there was a suspect. The sheriff's office quickly came out and said that is not true. They said that reporting something like that that's unverified, that does not help this case out at all, and that is basically irresponsible. So we're hoping, ladies, to get an update later today from the sheriff's office late this morning. They're expected to give us an update, so hopefully we'll get some more insight into where this investigation stands.
Justin, that video that Savannah released, I mean, this is a woman that especially all of us here on NBC know and love. She's a professional. She's on top of every story that happens all around the world. To see her so broken, I thought it was really interesting, the script that they were reading and some of the words that she used, where you heard about these ransom notes, you heard about this happening. It seems more real than ever that this is a ransom situation, doesn't it?
You know, that was the one thing that really stood out to me, and she pointed it out a little bit into that video. That wasn't the first thing that she had talked about. You know, she even talked to her mom, you know, and said, if you're listening to this, basically encouraging her. But that really was the first time that they legitimized this ransom note, because the sheriff said that they were aware of it, that they were looking into it, but that's pretty much as far as they got. And then Savannah came out last night and said, basically acknowledged it and said that they were ready to listen. So that was pretty surprising, and I'm sure the sheriff is going to be really pressed on that today, on where that ransom note is, also this trespassing incident that happened. So still just a lot of questions, but it's interesting the sheriff is holding all that information so close to the vest right now, you know, so whatever's in that ransom note, they can quickly figure out, you know, is that real?
I mean, and then you think about it, Justin, we're on day 5, and this is a woman who needs her medication, who has a pacemaker. You are so heartbroken for Savannah, for her family. We hope to learn more, to have something to look forward to when it comes to this news conference. Of course, we'll be covering that for you. Justin, live for us in Tucson. Thank you. Well, there is still, like we said, a lot of questions that need to be answered. So investigators are holding a press conference this morning. We're hearing it's at 11 o'clock. You need to be sure to download 12 Plus. That's our streaming service. It's completely free. You can download it on your TV so that you can watch it live as it happens. We will be covering that for you. We're back after this quick break.
News Valley Cam, sponsored by Parker & Sons Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Time right now is 20 minutes past the hour on this Thursday. Look for clear skies, turning mostly cloudy tonight. Temperature-wise, we're still well above our normal range of 81 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy. We could see a brief shower on the west side of the state. Really doesn't look like measurable rainfall. And today, your winds are coming down. So the gusty, hot stuff from yesterday starting to taper off a little bit. In fact, this is a theme for us that's going to take you into the weekend. But check this out. Highs are finally going to start breaking down by the middle part of next week as rain pushes into the mountain range.
All right, we've got a couple of issues all over the place here. Nothing really huge, but we're definitely got some slowing all over the place here. We'll take a look at one of these accidents that is thankfully on the northbound side of I-17. It's not really causing a whole lot of issues, but it is causing a couple of issues there. We had this gas leak that has been cleared out, thankfully, at Indian School at 51st Avenue. A lot of slowing I-10 at 51st Ave right there. You can see you're slowing 16 minutes on I-10, 101 to the Stack. Southbound I-17, Peoria to 7th Avenue. That's also in the yellow. But good news in the East Valley, we are under 10 minutes over there.
We'll take it. Will, thank you so much. Tomorrow, the Olympic opening ceremony. Security, of course, one of the biggest challenges for any host city or country, and can get very expensive. But during the 2026 Winter Games in Italy, there are security challenges unlike anything we have seen before. And that's because these Olympics, the most widespread ever. Anne-Marie Tiernan is live in Italy this morning, covering the games for us, joining us now from Milan. I mean, like I mentioned, Anne-Marie, this is something that we've never seen when covering an Olympic game, so it makes things very complicated.
Well, it certainly does, and it's such a good point because security is always a top concern. And a lot of times here at the Olympics, you know, it's one site, and you just want to make sure that site is really safe and really secure, and they put a plan in place for that. But here we have multiple sites, 6 different sites, 2 primary ones. We have Cortina, and then we also have Milano. So in order to get that done, they've got the police, they've also got the Italian army. So getting from one to the other, that's the challenging part. But they say once they get there, at least they've got a smaller pocket to focus on. Hosting the Olympics is never easy.
Widespread games is also, I think, it's a very interesting concept.
But the 2026 Milan Cortina Olympics CEO says hosting the most spread out Olympics in history brings security challenges unlike most.
Absolutely, and it's a matter of manpower in the end, you know, and how many people you are able to deploy.
Security is needed in the busy city of Milan.
Milano is Milan, and we know that is a complex city, it's a large city, but the city used to, you know, very large events every year.
And also up in the mountain town of Cortina, along with several other mountain villages spread out across northern Italy.
All police forces will be involved, local, regional, national, the Ministry of Defense, so we will have the Army.
They're coordinating transportation and communication across more than 13,000 square miles.
The mountain villages, the fact they're all spread, it's easier to control one separate from the others. And of course, there is an overall view on security through the entire 22,000 square kilometers.
And then putting the focus on smaller areas.
And this makes it somewhat easier within the difficulties of a large perimeter.
It's an Olympic-sized security plan for 3 weeks of the Winter Games.
Of course, security is an important responsibility.
Now, the Italians are also leaning on to AI, artificial intelligence, to help detect suspicious packages, crowd movements, or unexpected gatherings. Also, the plan is for cyber attacks. The awareness of that and an attack against that is heightened as well here in Italy as the games now are underway. Back to you.
Anne-Marie, live for us from Italy this morning. 1 day to go. We can't believe it. We'll check back in with you later on this morning. We've got live coverage of the opening ceremony for the Milan Cortina Olympics starting tomorrow, noon our time. You can watch it all right here on 12 News.
We're in Tempe. Many bars in this area are waiting to see what happens tonight with the city council vote. Coming up, we'll tell you what's at stake.
We do continue to follow breaking news out of Flagstaff this morning. A deadly DPS helicopter crash, all tied to an active shooter incident. Now, the FAA and the NTSB, they are both investigating now. DPS is saying 2 of their troopers were killed when one of the Ranger helicopters went down. It was providing tactical air support last night, and it killed both the pilot and the trooper/paramedic who were on board. Before the crash, officers, they shot and wounded a suspect who is now in custody and is expected to survive. Again, this is a developing situation. Just learning these details, so you want to make sure to stick with us. We're going to have the very latest on the investigation throughout the morning. So download 12 Plus. It's free. You can get it on your TV right now for any breaking news updates in this investigation. Our team coverage, meantime, will continue right after this break.